The final score, Peterborough United 0, Wrexham 2. That was mighty fine, wasn't it? Wow, what a performance and what a message to send out to the rest of the division. Let's not kid ourselves here. Peterborough, just like Bolton, who we got a good draw from, are serious, serious contenders. They came close to getting promoted as well. I said at the start of the season, we've got a very, very tough opening schedule. Well, we're working through it and we're equal top. That's not a bad start, is it? This was impressive. Wrexham unchanged from the 3-0 win over Reading. Um, Against the Peterborough side, they had a formidable looking front three. And were managed by Darren Ferguson, who gets his teams to get the ball on the floor and work it around. And, well, firstly, I think the most telling comment on this was after the game, Phil Parkinson saying that we applied the game plan from minute 1 to minute 90. Gosh, yeah, nobody who was there could dispute that. Because, like I said, Peterborough looked to play short goal kicks. They looked to work the ball through the thirds up the pitch. And we were on them from the start. I mean, watching Palmer and Marius when Peterborough had a goal kick, just poised, ready to sprint in the moment the ball had been touched. And then, we man-to-man press with the wing backs high up the pitch on their full backs and the midfield supporting. Goodness me, we were ferocious. And Peterborough, understandably, persisted in their game plan of looking to pass through from the back and really struggled to do so with any control. It was magnificent to watch. It was gripping as well because they were doing something similar to us, and there was that real sense of something's got to give. Both teams playing a very high risk, high reward style of football when they didn't have the ball. It was fascinating. It was actually Peterborough who had the first opportunity just before the 20th minute. They passed well through the press, about the first time that they had, really. And then Odo did really well, breaking down a left. He beat O'Connell and drove the ball into the near post. Mothersill looked like he had an easy tap in from a couple of yards out, but George Dobson did so well, came back from midfield, tracked Mothersill's run, and just when Mothersill was about to hit it, Dobson got in, lunging from behind, got a foot in and knocked it onto Mothersill and behind for the goal kick. Brilliant work by Dobson, and Wrexham had survived. And we then, when we had to, we defended well. Peterborough moving the ball around had a lot of possession, but they weren't piercing our defence. And then when we were coming forwards and winning the ball high at the pitch, we were threatening. And we got the breakthrough in the 28th minute. It was good, patient passing anyway, all the way through. Nice movement. Lee and McLean combining passes down the left after Dobson had sent them away. And then Dobson made a superb late run into a packed penalty area. Lee saw the run, pinged in the perfect ball for him. The weight on it was superb. Dobson in the left channel, his first touch takes him clear of his defender, and you're thinking he's going to hit it. But, beg your pardon, not his first. His first touch, you think he's going to do that, but instead he plays a lovely, perfectly weighted layoff to Marriott, who's also in the left channel outside him, and Marriott sets himself really well. He puts it across the keeper, lunging defender in front of the keeper, deflects it over the goalie. Marriott's goal, deflection is crucial, and Wrexham have the lead. I like when you look at how Marriott sets himself for it, that when it's coming to him, you think, well, it's perfect. You just open your body up and put it back the way it came across the keeper. And he does do that, but he doesn't shift his body until quite late, just to make the keeper still think which ways you're going to put it. And then he hits it. And, okay, the deflection was fortunate, but fortune favours the brave. Marriott's had an excellent start to the season. He's had a couple of moments where he's been unlucky not to get a goal. So, this time, things evened themselves out. And Wrexham continues this excellent approach. The energy we put into our pressing was terrific. Peterborough, again, really finding it hard to get the ball over the halfway line. When they did, we would then drop off into a mid-block and we would defend our half really well. So it was difficult for them to find space coming forwards. And again, we were the team who were causing problems when we came forwards. When they dropped off, we moved the ball around a bit quicker than they did. We were a bit more incisive than them, a little more purposeful on the ball. Players were looking up and looking forwards rather than just looking to recirculate. I'm not knocking Peterborough, they're a really good team. And when they got the ball down, you could see how good they were, but we had control of it. It was wonderful to watch. A long spell of really good pressure shortly after the Wrexham goal ends with Wrexham moving it along the edge of the box. Two or three players, most notably Elliot Lee, trying to set themselves for a shot. They just can't quite get that opening to hit it, so they have to shift it on. In the end, it went to the left-hand side where James McLean swept the ball into the goalmouth with the outside of his left foot. Palmer was attacking it. Great header by Emmanuel Fernandez, who was really impressive at the back. What an excellent defender he is. He just managed to stretch and flick it behind for a corner. But Wrexham kept doing this sort of stuff, and increasingly it was us who was looking threatening. Barnett breaking down the right-hand side, putting a vicious cross in. Barnett really prominent down the right to the far post. It was just, as you say, that it was just over Palmer attacking at the near post, and it had to be hurriedly headed behind by Curtis for a corner. But that was where things really started to turn against Peterborough. We've seen an earlier corner, actually, since that first goal, which was a textbook example of how to pen in a goalkeeper without fouling him. The keeper coming and not making contact. On this one, again, with the keeper watched by Marriott, the corner is swung in by Lee. Palmer gets up really well, and Fernandez just manages to get there ahead of him behind for another corner, with again the keeper unable to come. And from that corner, we see that approach pay off. O'Connor with an excellent delivery to the far post. Marriott is blocking the keeper, but he's not touching him, and he's not offside. So he's not breaking the rules, and he just shifts himself slightly across to follow the flight of the ball and make sure that Jed Steer can't get out to get at the cross, and Max Cleworth times his run perfectly from close range at the far post, nods it in. 39 minutes gone, Wrexham are 2-0 up, and we could easily have been 3-0 up by the break. A free kick, a good 25 yards out, just right of centre, and Tom O'Connor struck it beautifully. It pinged against the bar. It was heading for the top right corner. It was just a tiny bit too high. And, well, I mean, it shows how well he struck it. When it bounced after hitting the bar, it was 20 yards out from goal. I mean, that was a great strike. Keeper had no chance. Wrexham so unlucky not to be 3 up. In the closing minute, Peterborough made another opportunity. It was Joel Randall making a good run. I mean, he was playing behind the striker, and clearly his purpose was to try and run in, you can say, ahead of their striker and try and get into the box. We made a decent run on this occasion. Poku picked him out, and Randall tried to shape it past Okonkwo, but put it wide of the left post from the edge of the area. Decent chance, but it didn't knock Wrexham off course. Second half, Wrexham again settled quickly into our job. 10 minutes into the half, Peterborough moved the ball a bit quicker than they had been doing previously and opened up an opportunity when Sparks cut in from the left flank and swept in a cross, which Kyprianos headed over from about 8 yards out, mainly because Tom O'Connor did a great job of challenging him, and although with Kyprianos running onto a really well-placed cross, he couldn't beat him to it. He jumped into him and just waited so Kyprianos couldn't get over the ball. But then it was back to Wrexham making chances. Within a minute of that, 2 chances in one. Firstly, it's a nice move, which ends with Cannon driving in across. Barnett had been instrumental at the start of this move and then had made a run inside, and he was lunging in front of a goal and just couldn't quite reach it 6 yards out. It was a great chance if he'd been inches ahead of where he was. The ball was cleared, but not very well, and laid off for Lee, who smashed a shot from the edge of the box, but pulled it rather, and it went wide of the left post. Wrexham, I mean, they were on flying in ointment today. Just after the hour, Andy Cannon racing down the right-hand side, pulled up. Was clearly seemed to have a problem with his hamstring. Had no news on how bad it is. I mean, I feel hopeful that he felt a twinge because he didn't just stop like people do when they really wreck their hamstring. So hopefully it's not too bad. But of course, Wrexham had to replace him Ollie Rathbone, who clearly is a player who wants to play in that position. So we were able to continue and settle down, and we nearly had another opportunity. 25 minutes left. Dobson with a superb ball forwards to find Palmer. He pinged 2 or 3 absolute beauties down the lines. Palmer, with a lovely little turn, is up against the last defender, Fernandez, and Fernandez has to make the tackle. Palmer goes down. He wants a foul, and therefore almost certainly a red card. It had to be a red card, right? It was about 30 yards out, but there was no one else anywhere near. The referee waved play on, and he was right to do so. It was It was a dangerous moment, and if he'd got it wrong, Fernandez would have been off the pitch, I think. But he didn't get it wrong. He made good contact with the ball. It was physical. Palmer had the right to go down and ask the question, but yeah, I've got it right. And from Fernandez's tackle, they broke up the pitch, Peterborough, and Chris Con-Clark, who'd come on at half-time, cut inside on the right flank in the box and hit a nice curler, which went just wide of the far post. Their best efforts of the game. With 21 minutes left, Wrexham wheeled in the bench. Fletcher and Mullin coming on for Marius and Palmer, who'd been superb again up front. And, well, it was a weird one for Mullin. He could have scored with his first touch and should have scored with his second touch. The first one was Elliot Lee standing a lovely ball up to the corner of the box. He was outside the area. The keeper was a bit off his line, and so Mullin decided to let it bounce, and as it dropped, smash a lofted volley over the keeper to try and catch him out and drop the ball inside the far post. And if he'd got a few inches more, he'd have done it. The keeper caught it, but it was, you look at it and think it was a fairly straightforward take, but he had to scramble across a bit just to make sure he got to it. And if it had been about 6 inches higher, he just wouldn't have reached it. So really brilliant instinctive effort by Mullin. It was first touch. His second touch after coming on, though, he should have done better, in all honesty. It was a set piece for Peterborough, free kick, so they put in the box. Wrexham won it, and Ryan Barnett picked it up on the edge of his area and just went on the most brilliant sprint down the pitch with the ball at his feet, down the right-hand side, completely outpaced Sparks, got to about 25 yards out, and then whipped in a perfect ball for Mullin at the far post, unmarked, about 8 yards out, falling on the volley. He went for the side-footed finish, and he put it about a yard wide. It's just not like him. To be fair, the lad's coming back from injury. Let's give him a break. Let's give him a chance to settle in. But he was angry with himself, Mullin. He knew that was a glorious opportunity. And brilliant play by Barnett. We made our final substitution when Reven came on for Barnett. There was 6 minutes left, and by then the game felt over. We could have had another goal, and I've got to make a little comment about this. What happens is a terrific ball dinked in to the right channel. Peterborough's defence in the closing stages looked a bit all over the place as they changed to 3 at the back, and they also changed the personnel within the 3 at the back to try and reconfigure and get more attacking players in forward positions. So on this occasion, they left Stephen Fletcher unmarked in the left channel on the edge of the area, one-on-one with the keeper. Problem is that the pass to him was so beautifully inviting. Fletcher just couldn't resist trying to hit it with a volley, because if he got that in, it would have been a remarkable goal. The point I want to make, rather similar to last week with Reading, where once the players have got a couple of goals head start, they really start to play and enjoy themselves. And McLean had a similar situation with a lovely cross by Cannon, and you could see he wasn't going to bring it down and just score. He wanted to try and rip the net off and finish a brilliant move. So yeah, Fletcher did the same, and he couldn't hit the target. But it showed the mood of the players. They're loving playing with each other. They are loving that interaction. They want to give each other and the fans something great to remember from games. And they've certainly given us plenty in this game. A superb win and a well-merited win against, again, really good opposition. An opposition that usually beats us, actually. They've got an excellent record against us, Peterborough. In fact, this is the first time we've beaten them in 11 games, which is an indication of how these games often go. But yeah, fantastic. Looking at the performances, well, Concord didn't have much to do, in all honesty. Didn't make any mistake. Oh, he had a couple of comedy moments with the ball at his feet, mind, but he negotiated them okay. The centre-backs, again, I mean, this is 3 clean sheets in a row, and as a unit, they are playing superbly. And I guess I'm going to be a little bit predictable again in what I say. Great that Cleworth got the goal. Oh, wow. He is, again, just so calmly unflappable and in control. He made some really good interceptions as well when Peterborough trying to build and dominate possession. He's just stepping in front of his man to break it up. And then because he's a good passer, he can start the breakaway. In the middle, again, O'Connell, rock solid, defending the penalty area. He is terrific, isn't he? When teams try to put crosses in, he dominates. And then O'Connor, I thought, was particularly good, really impressive defensively. Put in a super assist for Cleworth's goal as well. But I thought he put in a really classy performance defensively, made a lot of good challenges. And again, the whole defensive unit had really good discipline and shape. The wing backs, Barnett for me, man of the match. Although there are a few players who put in 7.5 out of 10 or above performances, but Barnett had no problems defensively whatsoever, and his pace on the break and the number of crosses he got in and the quality of those crosses, he really does feel like he's stepped his game up again. In fact, he's kept doing that since we bought him. He's National League player. We've stepped him up. He's settled in League Two well. And then now, wow, he just looks to be terrific. I mean, Reven looks terrific, but Barnes is not letting him or Bolton have a sniff at it, or Ford. So tremendous stuff from him. On the left-hand side, McLean again was strong, was aggressive, looked up at crosses in as well, won some good tackles. Again, textbook McLean. Textbook Dobson as well. I still love that man. He's brilliant. His assist for Marriott was beautiful, and I just love that. Although we use him as a central of the three, I would argue he's not. We don't have a sort of really out and out holding midfielder as such. Although he sort of fulfills that function, but we've seen him playing on the sides in the midfield three as well, and he clearly can do that. And that timing of his run for that goal was brilliant. When you see him making a forwards burst, you get really excited. I certainly do, because there's a real chance that if we hit him with a good pass, he's going to make something happen. And then either side of him, Cannon again was effervescent and eager and linking brilliantly with Barnes. Such a shame he got injured. And on the other side, Lee, who was a little quiet in the first half, but was very disciplined. And then in the second half, really started making things happen. He did have a few promising moments on the edge of the area in the first, and just couldn't quite get the right angle to let a shot off. But no, Lee was very, very good, I thought. And in the second half, particularly, really stood out. And then the strikers. Palmer, constant menace, terrific hard work, did really well in the press, won a lot of his headers, although he sensibly tried to avoid Fernandez, because Fernandez looks class, like I said, massively dominant player in the air. And then off Palmer, Marriott is just so alert and alive. He holds the ball up so well in difficult situations. He often looks like the ball's just run away from him, but he still somehow manages to get there. He makes tackles, he hassles defenders, and he took his goal nicely. Brilliant stuff. Excellent all-round performance. Rathbone got a good half hour's workout, and again showed good discipline down the right and the ability to drive forwards. The two strikers coming on, Bullen and Fletcher, were, as always, good value for money with these little cameos. Reven didn't have much time to do anything, really. Brilliant performance. Brilliant performance. What a delight. This Wrexham side looks very, very tasty indeed. So a week off and then a derby. Enjoy your week. I'm Mark Griffiths from Wrexham AFC.